I thought retirement would be simple. After 30 years as a land inspector, walking boundary lines in every kind of weather, dealing with greedy developers and shady surveyors, I promised myself that when the day finally came, I'd buy a piece of land no one could touch, just me, my tools, and the Colorado mountains. So 5 years ago, I did exactly that. I bought 10 acres just outside of Grand Junction, steep ridges, tall pines, and a view that stretched all the way to Utah. I checked everything, notarized surveys, GPS coordinates, and county records, triple stamped and sealed. I wasn't just careful, I was paranoid. After decades of watching people lose land over sloppy paperwork, I wasn't about to be one of them. I built my dream home there. A 2-story log place with a wide porch and a workshop that smelled like cedar and machine oil. No neighbors, no HOA, no rules. For a while, it was perfect. Then came Blue Haven Estates. Developers carved a gated community into the ridge below mine. Big houses, pastel walls, manicured lawns, the kind of place where neighbors argue about mailbox colors. I didn't care. Their boundary was hundreds of feet away. Let them sip wine and play golf. I had my hillside. But peace doesn't last long when someone like Karen moves in. Karen Hastings, self-proclaimed real estate queen, HOA president, and professional busybody. She arrived in a shiny white SUV dragging a yappy dog and an ego the size of her mortgage. Within weeks, she'd set herself up as the ruler of Blue Haven. And when her oversized Mediterranean-style mansion went up, I noticed something strange. It looked close. Too close. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe the angle fooled me. But one morning, while I was hauling lumber down to my workshop, I noticed survey markers missing. Pins I'd driven myself, stamped with county coordinates, were gone, replaced by nothing. That's when the letters started. Karen sent them on gold-trimmed HOA stationery, demanding I adjust my property structures to align with community standards. She complained about my gravel driveway, my porch lights, even the unsightly angle of my shed roof. Cute, considering I wasn't part of their HOA. I burned the letters in my fireplace. Problem solved, or so I thought. Then came the day Karen herself showed up, clipboard in hand, phone out, taking pictures of my workshop, on my side of the line. "Hi, you're trespassing," I told her. "I'm documenting," she smiled. "Your structures are in violation." "Violation of what? You don't own this land." "Oh," she said, tilting her head. "That's where you're wrong. You'll see soon enough." 1 week later, I was served. A nervous young lawyer in a wrinkled suit handed me a packet, a lawsuit, filed by Blue Haven Estates HOA. According to their claim, the northwest corner of my garage and part of my workshop sat on their land. They even had a map, sloppy, drawn over a Google Earth printout with red marker. Their demand? That I cease unauthorized occupation and transfer improvements to the association. In other words, they wanted me to hand over part of my house. I almost laughed, almost. But then I saw Karen standing behind the lawyer, arms folded, that smug look plastered on her face. She wanted a fight. She was about to get one. I went straight to my filing cabinet, pulled out the original survey and uploaded copies to the cloud. Then I called Mesa County Land Services. When I explained what was happening, the clerk chuckled and said, "Karen's trying to annex property again." Again. That told me everything I needed to know. This wasn't Karen's first land grab, so I hired Rocky Vista Geomatics, the best independent surveyors in Colorado. I prepaid for a GPS resurvey and drone sweep. If Karen wanted to play games with maps, I'd bury her under real data. When the crew arrived, they went to work setting up tripods and running GPS lines. Hours later, the lead surveyor called me over. He pointed to a bright orange pin half buried in the dirt, my original marker from years ago. Then he pulled back some ivy near Karen's backyard, revealing a second pin. But this one was fake, planted 30 feet out of place. "See this?" he said, showing me the GPS overlay on his tablet. "Her house, her patio, even part of her pool, they're all sitting on your land, nearly a full acre." I stared down at her gleaming mansion, the infinity pool, the deck, The guest house, all of it, built illegally on my property. The surveyor folded his arms. "You've got her cold." And just like that, the war officially began. The very next day, I filed a motion with the county clerk, official encroachment dispute. Attached were my original surveys, notarized affidavits, and the new GPS data. I didn't stop there. I sent Karen and the HOA cease and desist letters, certified mail. Karen didn't back down. Instead, she doubled down. She threw a community barbecue on the very patch of land her pool had stolen from me. Wine glasses, folding chairs, realtors handing out business cards, all standing on my dirt. I didn't confront them, I filmed it. Then I called the sheriff, deputies showed up, reviewed the records, and escorted Karen and her guests back across the property line. The look on her face? Priceless. Someone even live-streamed the whole thing. Overnight, the video went viral across the county. Comments poured in. "Wait, Karen's mansion isn't even on her land." That was just the beginning. A teenager down the road uploaded drone footage showing the entire construction process of her mansion. Time-lapsed proof of her house, creeping farther and farther onto my lot. By the time the county inspector got involved, it was game over. He confirmed the guest house was never permitted, the patio was undocumented, and the pool was still listed as a pending project. Inside HOA boundaries. Except it wasn't. When the case hit court, Karen's lawyer tried spinning it as a misunderstanding. Claimed the developers messed up the original boundary, but I had proof she'd seen the real survey months earlier and ignored it. Worse, a voicemail surfaced where Karen told a neighbor, "If we keep pressure on him, he'll cave. That land isn't worth much to him." The judge wasn't impressed. The ruling came swift and heavy. Karen had 30 days to vacate all encroaching structures, pay me damages, and submit her entire HOA to an audit. But she didn't pay. She didn't vacate. She thought she could stall. She was wrong. Colorado law is clear. If you build illegally on someone's land and refuse to compensate, the rightful owner can claim your improvements. So, after weeks of paperwork, I walked up to Karen's mansion with the county officer and signed the deed. The land was already mine. Now the house was too. I didn't keep it. I turned it into something better. Partnered with an old friend, a Navy vet who ran a non-profit, and converted the gaudy mansion into a retreat for combat veterans. Workshops, quiet rooms, a fire pit where the pool used to be. For the first time, the place had purpose. The HOA tried to complain, of course. I mailed them a copy of the court ruling with a sticky note. Aesthetic this. They never wrote back. Karen lost her presidency, then her real estate license. By the time spring rolled around, she was gone. Just a ghost in a silver sedan who once stopped at my gate, stared at what used to be hers, and drove off without a word. I installed a new sign by the trail, private property. If you think it's yours, bring a real map. Now, when I sit on my porch with coffee in hand, I don't just feel like I defended my land. I feel like I built something stronger on the ruins of Karen's arrogance. And that's how the HOA president who tried to steal my land ended up handing me her mansion by court order.